Steve Mbogo here. Now, for those Kenyans who've been keen enough, there's something that is happening in this country. And I think Kenyans are reaching a point where they're starting to practice what we call self-preservation. Why am I saying that? Now, it's evident that, and from the example we've seen doctors go on strike for a period of about 30 days without the help of any political figure, any political movement. In fact, we've only seen politicians being active in this issue in the last 3 to 4 days. That's when we've had even the opposition leader speak about this predicament that is happening to the doctors. Now, it's time the government has to be keen and know how to handle Kenyans, because when citizens start practicing self-preservation, it means that they feel left out and they have to take charge. Taking charge means they have to do things in their own way, such as demonstrations, without need of political figures, be it the opposition or maybe the government. But as these things go on, Kenyans have been so busy discussing about the fertilizer and the doctor's strike. But there's something bigger that is happening in this country, and no one is speaking about it. Now, 2-3 days ago, the central bank governor, Mr. Thuge, announced that BlackRock is set to invest in the Nairobi Stock Exchange. So who's BlackRock? BlackRock is the biggest company in the world with asset value of more than $11 trillion. Together with its sister companies, Vanguard and State Street, they have an asset value of about $15 trillion. BlackRock has the biggest shares in all the media companies, the banking sector, the arms industry, the pharmaceutical industry. In fact, all the companies that produce the vaccines for the COVID-19, BlackRock has the majority shares of all those companies, being Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson. Again, BlackRock in itself is the biggest company in terms of asset ownership in America today. More than 44% of single family homes in America today are owned by the BlackRock group. Now, something that is funny, when we take an example of the Russian-Ukrainian war, the money that the United States has been offering to Ukraine, all this money is given as a loan and not a gift. The condition to which they were given to get this funding is that they have to surrender their entire farming land and all the state corporations as a guarantee. They have to surrender it to the American companies. Now, the companies that are buying this agricultural land are Monsanto, Cargill, and one called DuPont. All these three are fully owned by BlackRock. Now, these are the same people who are coming to invest in this country. You and I will agree that in Kenya, there was a proposition to sell state corporations. And the funny thing about it is that we were always told that we have people who are ready to buy these corporations. So is it BlackRock coming to take over all these state corporations? That's a question. Number two, I've been talking lately, and many Kenyans are discussing about the policies being implemented on agriculture. And all these policies are meant to demoralize farmers not to do farming anymore. And we know with the New World Order agenda, the biggest plan is to take over agricultural land. So are they the ones coming to take over this land? So Kenyans, we need to wake up before we are caught pants down. Number two, another funny issue is that the United Nations, what we call the United Nations Development Population Fund, UNFPA, is set to relocate its entire office from New York to Nairobi in the name of sexual production and population aid. The big question is it also part of the bigger global agenda to take over and depopulate the masses in this country? It's time Kenyans, we need to wake up and know what's happening in our country. If the president is going to have agreements with these people, for example, the fundings we're getting, every day when you read the newspaper, there's money from IMF, there's billions from IMF and IMF. What are the guarantees being given against this borrowing? We Kenyans are not told. Kenya is my business and my business is Kenya. Kenyans, we need to wake up and start asking the simple questions in life, or else we will be caught pants down, and by the time we realize, it's going to be too late. Kenyans, today we all know that we as citizens are left alone. Both the government and opposition are in the same bed. And that's why none of them is talking about these issues. So it's time we wake up and think collectively. The time is now and we need to wake up. So Kenyans, go read about BlackRock. Go read about the UN Population Fund and let's compare notes.